Hey, Thomas. How are you?
Jonathan, doing great, my friend, doing great. Listen, I want to jump into something where I've actually, had personal experience from it. You've had personal experience, and a lot of my clients, okay, actually, they call me in consulting wise because they've actually failed at this. All right. Whose responsibility is it to develop an employee? All right. I'm going to throw that at you, and let's hear from your end. What do you think?
I mean, I think the days of just hiring a person and hoping that they're going to do what you want them to do is
Hmm.
over. It never should have been there where it's you're setting yourself up to fail. I
Hmm.
mean, we've done a lot of hiring, right? We've failed at hiring people because we may have thought that their resume was amazing. They have all this experience, they have all this skill set based on their resume, and they turned out to be a total flop. They did nothing. They didn't know how to do anything.
Hmm.
Communication was terrible. The skill set didn't match their resume. So
Hmm.
that deals with like hiring the right person and actually doing like assessments and seeing how they perform. I really feel if you're trying to make your company the best it can possibly be by hiring the best person. You, as the company owner, manager, need to do training. You have to really give them a represent your company for what you're doing, how you're trying to perform the work, and then the employee that you're trying to hire, they also have to come to the table and do their part, right?
Hmm.
They may have to be trying to figure out your company structure, the training. They may need more classes that they have to take. So it's a two-way street. It's not just the on the owners or managers, and it's not just on the employees. Everyone has to come to the table and do their fair part to figure out how to be the most successful employee for the company and for yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's actually, you know, it's a three-way street, meaning, it's the employee, it's the leaders within the company, and the organization itself. Who's going to take ownership of it? I'll even tell you some experiences I've had recently. There's, some owners that have hired C-level people, and they figure these people have all this experience because their resume states it. And they come into the organization and like 6 months, 12 months down the line, it didn't work out. Why is that? And I end up talking to the owner about it. The owner just basically hired him, figured, hey, he's got the credentials, the game of tour, sat down with him for a week. Now he can take the reins and run with it. It doesn't work that way. They got to understand how you run the business. That's what it comes down to. What's your vision in seeing things versus their vision? You have to constantly be on top of that, at least minimum for the first 6 months on a weekly or biweekly basis, sitting down with this C-level person, because that's the person you have to develop. You're responsible for developing them as the owner and also the other C-level people around them, okay? Because that's like your little round table. When you start getting down into the departments and you're hiring a customer service rep or a sales rep or a marketing rep, it's up to the other fellow peer employees around them to show them a little bit of ropes. It's up to their manager to make sure they're getting the message that needs to be delivered and the production that needs to be delivered, along with the goals that need to be obtained. That's what it comes down to. But it's a group organizational part of developing that employee, because if that employee fails, then the organization has to ask themselves and ask their department leaders, why did this employee fail when we decided to hire them and basically invest money into them? Where did we go wrong? It's not where the employee went wrong. It's like, where did we go wrong? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's all right. I mean, we when you're dealing with a little bit of a bigger company, the organization has to actually give you the roadmap. They're the ones that have to give you the tools and all the pieces that you need for the manager to even be successful in working with the employee. So in that case, yeah, it's a three-way street. If you're a smaller business, let's say you're just starting out, you got 10 or less employees, you are the organization, right? You represent you may be the owner, the hiring person, everything, and you're the one now that has to do all of that. So I've seen a lot of smaller companies that they just don't know how to hire. They don't know how to train. They don't know how to even look for the right people. So if you're in that
100%.
boat, you need to do a little research, figure out what you should be giving them, figure out what you're asking them to do, and how can you possibly train them. A lot of people are not experienced in hiring or training, and they're owners of companies, and they wonder why they're constantly hiring people and they're going out the door after a few weeks or a few months. It's because they're trying to get work off of their plate by just hiring people. That's not the way to do it. You got to really bring them in. You get to sit down with them. You have to train them. You have to do one-on-one time. You got to talk to them,
Mhm.
email them, call them, visit them, say, share the same desk. A lot of those kind of tactics will be how you can make that employee more valuable for themselves and for your company.
Mhm.
Uh, because
100%,
it's
100%.
very important, and we constantly see in other clients as well that they're constantly going through uh, employees left and right, and they don't know why or what they're doing wrong, and they're not
Mhm.
giving them the support that they need to be successful.
One thing, it's pretty much very common. In January, a lot of companies do like an annual kickoff, okay? And that's where they leave it at. They do an annual kickoff, rah, 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 get everybody pumped up. It's like that Friday Night Lights homecoming party, okay? But here's the situation. You have to have, follow up on that. We both know that, going into the fourth quarter, there's a lot of companies out there. That's where they gain a lot of their revenue, even in the third quarter. My suggestion for companies out there, have a good plan, do your annual kickoff, but then you're going to have another kickoff every year right after Labor Day. Okay. The Monday after Labor Day, bring everybody in. Summertime's over, vacation time's over. We're strapping in and we're getting ready to rock and roll and make a lot of money and revenue. And you got to get everybody on board. Now you had the first 8 full months to see how your annual kickoff is. Now it's to re-examine it and now to do part two. That's a strong suggestion. I've been doing that for the last 15 years with my company, and it's actually been very productive in doing it. So if you're not doing it, implement it and make it happen. Yeah, it's going to cost you a few bucks, but you know what? That few bucks will multiply, 15, 20, 40 times, depending how you're going to motivate your people. Thoughts on that, Jonathan?
I mean, anytime you can spend analyzing and putting together a strategy and reviewing what you've done, it's going to help you, continue to grow. You might pay a little bit up front, like you said, but it's going to far outweigh what you're going to do.
Good. Listen, everybody, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Creative knowledge for you. Hit that like button. Thumbs up. Take care.
Take care.